Welcome guys to my YouTube channel. As always, this is the channel where you actually have so many opportunities, and today's awesome topic is on caregiving opportunities in Finland. And Finland is one of the awesome countries that I normally advocate you guys to actually think about, and this is one of the best countries that you can actually travel to and work as a caregiver. So basically today we are going to focus on some of the requirements that are there in terms of you working as a caregiver in Finland. We are going to look at some of the opportunities and what are the statistics in Finland that prove that healthcare and care workers are actually needed in Finland. And caregiving and healthcare workers are among some of the most in-demand skills that are needed. Basically, there is a shortage in terms of the healthcare workers in Finland, and that is why today I decided to do this awesome video for you guys. As always guys, without further ado, let's delve right into it, okay? So caregiving, basically today I want to introduce this particular topic, and I want you guys to also think about what are some of the requirements that may be needed in terms of migrating to Finland. To Finland as a caregiver. Okay, so caregiving is a professional act of providing assistance and support to individuals who are unable to care for themselves due to various reasons, for example age and disability status or physical or mental illnesses. Okay, and the most important thing that somebody needs to know in terms of being a caregiver is that caregiver involves so many particular tasks that are needed. For example, you are actually going to provide service users with bathing. You're actually going to assist them in terms of their bathing, dressing, medication management, transportation. For example, you can see in the picture the caregiver is actually assisting the lady via her mobility status. Okay, she's assisting her in terms of her mobility. Okay, basically transportation. Okay, you are going to prepare nutritious meals, and then you're also going to provide emotional support. All these particular activities are there for you to provide them to the service user, so that they do not become lenient. Okay, you encourage them to be independent. Okay, you are not providing these particular services to them so that they can become they should not actually become people who are actually dependent on the caregiver. So you should actually do and assist them in these particular activities and encourage them to be independent. Okay, so caregiving can be provided by professionals, of course, and in this particular case I wanted to talk about some of the opportunities that are there in Finland. So there is an opportunity for caregivers, assistant nurses, and certified nursing assistants. Okay, so all these particular fields are actually needed. They are also part of the healthcare fields, and as a caregiver, okay, as a caregiver you require patience. Okay, you need to be compassionate, you need to show empathy, and then you have to have the willingness to provide the necessary assistance in need. I know sometimes it sounds quite easy, but remember, this one is a professional field that requires somebody to have undergone for example 600 hours of studies. For example, you have undertaken a caregiving course, you have undertaken a nursing assistant course, or you've taken a nursing degree. So it is important for you to also take care of your own physical and emotional needs as a caregiver. Okay, so there are 4 different types of caregivers, and I'm just going to briefly talk about them. There is the home health care. Okay, there is the assisted living facilities, and there is the nursing homes, and there is also the adult care centers. So the home health care, okay, this is a receiving care in the home. Okay, receiving care in the home, perhaps the most flexible of all the options, where this is the home care. Caregivers who come into the home normally provide services that range from standby oversight for a few hours a week, or in the around the clock care. When you engage a home health care agency, they will supply caregivers with the appropriate skills during the time that you request. Before you plan for services in a home care agency, you should get an assessment. So basically, where you'll be working, for example, if you'll be working in a home care setup, there is actually going to be an assessment that has been done. So some of the homes in Finland actually have a range of either 15 to 20 care users that you'll actually be giving caregiving. Okay, you'll actually be doing your caregiving. So it is important to note that some of the home healthcare agencies actually offer the live-in caregiving opportunity, and this is where you may be able to work. Okay, but in this particular space, in terms of the caregiving opportunities that are available in Finland, accommodation is actually going to be provided for you, and you'll actually be able to gain. Okay, you'll actually be able to be paid extra when you actually work in evening hours, from example from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., which will be given an additional 15%. So if you'll actually be working in the night, so you'll actually be earning something extra between 30 to 40%. And Saturdays and Sundays, Saturdays it's actually 25%. Sorry guys, Sundays and public holidays, you'll actually be getting 100% add-ons in terms of your salary. Okay, so without further ado, let me just go on further, because it is important that we also focus on the requirements in terms of moving to Finland as a caregiver. So there are three key qualities of a caregiver. This one is based in terms of the particular companies that you'll be working with, okay, or you'll be working under. Okay, they require the CCC. Okay, I personally came out and I personally discovered that they require that you have these particular key qualities as a caregiver, which I rebranded them as the CCC. Basically, you need to be competent, you need to show commitment, and then you need to provide quality care. Okay, so for purposes of explanation, competence basically refers to a person's ability, so you as the caregiver's ability to perform the caregiving task or job effectively and efficiently. Okay, so it involves having the necessary knowledge, understanding, expertise, and experience to carry out the caregiving. So for you to demonstrate your competence, okay, this is where I'm actually going to give you guys the requirements based on the requirements by the company. So number one, you need to have undertaken a 600 hours studies course. For example, this can be actually done in Allison. You've done the diploma in Allison. Remember, if you've actually done an online course, you need to provide, for example, a CV, an 8 years compliant Finnish tailored resume that proves that you have actually worked. Okay, you have the physical experience to undertake the job. But if you actually have taken a one-on-one course, for example, you went to a physical class, either you have a degree in nursing or a nursing assistant diploma, or you've done a diploma in caregiving in a face-to-face kind of a setting, you do not need to provide a CV that shows that you have the experience. So those ones are the two differences that are there. Okay, so commitment basically just means that you promise and pledge to do something, or you follow up a particular caregiving action. Okay, and it implies that you are dedicated to your responsibilities, and then you stay true to your words and goals. Okay, despite you having to face obstacles or challenges that you're going to overcome. Care basically means you maintain, and you're going to actually work to maintain and restore the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of the particular service user. For example, you can see this particular picture here. It is depicting that particular action. Okay, so what are some of the advantages of acquiring, for example, the permanent residence in Finland? So this particular process of applying for these caregiving opportunities in Finland, the company is actually going to assist you in terms of applying for the permanent residence. Okay, so what are some of the advantages? So Finland is the third wealthiest country in the world according to the Legatum Prosperity Index of 2016. Okay, I know it might sound like it's a long time ago, but remember, this country is actually, each and every day this country is becoming better, and Finland is also becoming better. So according to the employment ministry in Finland, the country needs over 2,000 new health and social workers by 2030, which at least 10% of them to be recruited from abroad. So this one provides you with an opportunity to be in Finland. Okay, and 200,000 is a huge number, but this particular year they require 5,000 new health and social care workers. Okay, so the one who has a permanent residence obtains the same social status, social security and civil rights as a citizen in the country. The only thing is that you will not vote. Okay, one can stay in the European Union for an unlimited period. Remember, when you actually have the permanent residence in Finland, you cannot work in another country, but you can be able to visit other Schengen countries. Okay, one access the Finnish permanent residence or citizenship just in 4 years, but in this particular case, after you've actually stayed after the first contract, okay, the first 1 year contract that you're actually going to get with this particular employer, after the 4 years in Finland, you can actually apply for the Finnish citizenship. Basically 5 years is the total. Finland allows dual citizenship, so it does not mean that you can denounce your first citizenship. Okay, there is free medical care or free medical care in terms of when you become a permanent resident in Finland, support programs for spouse and free language courses. This is where now I tell you guys that sometimes this is just something that I can tell you with experience. In Finland, they recognize spouses and also maybe cohabiting partner that you've actually stayed with for a particular period of time as a spouse. Okay, so this is something that you need to know. And then if it is necessary, okay, if necessary, I love this word, if necessary, monthly allowance for children is actually provided. Okay, and then education is free and subsidized kindergarten. Okay, public education is actually free. I need to put this in this particular aspect. Okay, so you should know that there are so many opportunities that are there for you if you're in the healthcare and social care field. Okay, basically health and social care. Okay, so some of the common residents that you'll be working, okay, some of the people that you'll be working, the service users, basically the people who will be receiving caregiving are above 75 years old. The residents in the care homes that you'll be working will be above 75 years old. Some of them will be you will need awareness in terms of dementia, okay, and Alzheimer's disease. So you need to be able to actually know, for example, what dementia care, you have done something to do with Alzheimer and dementia care. Okay, so some of the service users are in a vegetative state. Basically, vegetative state is a condition which a person is awake but appears to be fully unresponsive and has no aware of the environment or themselves. This requires that you also have some background in terms of nursing. So this is just my advice. Remember, when you actually do the caregiving course, if you actually do not have the experience, it is important that maybe you go volunteer your services to a hospital, okay, or a certain care home, so that you can be able to be confident enough when you're actually handling service users, because different service users have different care needs. Okay, so the person may have some reflex moments or basic behaviors such as yawning or blinking, but they do not display any meaningful communication or purposeful movements. Vegetative state can result from severe brain damage due to a variety of causes such as traumatic brain injury, stroke or lack of oxygen to the brain. It is a condition that is different from brain death. Kindly note that vegetative state does not mean that the person is actually dead or is actually having brain death, okay, which is when there is no activity at all in the brain, okay. Kindly note the difference between those particular states, and it is important that you actually know how to handle somebody or a service user in vegetative state. And then most of the older patients, for example, older service users suffer from dementia and Alzheimer, okay. So one of the major stumbling blocks that I've actually come to realize about this program is that it is mandatory for you to communicate with your fellow co-workers and service users in Finnish, okay. But now this is the advantage. It is a free language training. You receive free language training from the company that is actually going to employ you. And it is important that I inform you that the European language levels, okay, are known as Common European Framework for References for Languages, or CEFR, organizes language proficiency in 6 levels. There is A1, A2, B1, B2, C1 and C2, which can be regrouped into 3 broad levels: basic user, independent user and proficient user. Can be further subdivided according to the needs of the local context. So A1 is basically the beginner level, and you can understand and use familiar everyday expressions and very basic phrases. Kindly note that the employer is not looking for somebody who has the A1 language. They are looking for the A2 elementary level. It means that you can communicate in simple routine tasks required in a basic and direct exchange of information and familiar and routine matters. This particular employer that is actually going to employ you guys is looking for the A2. Remember, I've actually said that the language training is actually free, okay. And if you can actually go and also think about getting the B1, which is the intermediate level, you can handle more situations likely to arise while traveling using language flexibility and effectively for social, academic and purposeful communication, okay. There is the B2, which is the upper intermediate. You can understand the main ideas of complex text on both concrete and abstract topics, including technical discussions in their field of specialization. And then there is C1, which is the advanced level. You can understand a wide range of demanding longer clauses and recognize implicit meanings, and can express ideas fluently and spontaneously without much obvious searching for expressions, okay. C2, which is the highest level of any language. You can understand with ease virtually everything you have heard or read and can summarize it, okay, for effective and efficient communication. So basically this employee is looking for the A2, which I've actually stated is the elementary level. You can communicate in simple routine tasks requiring a basic and direct exchange of information. So in Finnish they have a particular language training, NLRC, okay. The language training is done by the NLRC, or certified native tutors or teachers that will actually be teaching you, okay, and it's online based. So, and it is actually free, okay. So I'll not talk much about the program, because if anybody is interested, you can like this particular video, you can share it with your friends, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm actually going to give you guys a few seconds to actually do so. So this is the process in a nutshell. Number 1, you'll actually be able to be inducted through an orientation program where you're actually going to learn about the program, and then after you've done the orientation program, you'll actually be able to be given a link where you can join the group for communication. In this group is where you'll actually be given the various documents for there. For example, the self-study Finnish kit, which is known as the Kilmahoiden, okay. Kilmahoiden, which is, for example, one of the requirements or one of the Finnish study packs that you're actually going to use. and then you need to pass the Finnish language requirements. Okay, you need to pass the Finnish language requirement, because this one is one of the requirements that is needed. And then as you're actually doing the studies, you'll need to do a medical certificate where you need to prove that you do not have tuberculosis and you have no salmonella. Okay, and then through also the study pack, you can be able to start with your application in terms of the residence permit, which is also done online. This can also be done where you book an appointment at the Finnish embassy, and then while you're actually completing your immigration process, upon receiving your residence permit, you'll also be able to do another medical report, okay, so that they can prove that during the first medical examination, where you prove that you do not have TB and salmonella, you'll also be able to prove that you do not have those two in that particular differential period that you had undertaken the first and the second medical test. Last but not least, you're actually going to book your tickets, okay, according to the instructions of the company, and then you'll actually arrive in Finland and start working. So what are some of the expenses that you're actually going to come across? Number one, all medical tests will be done by you. Number two, travel arrangements will be done by you to Finland. And then you're actually going to pay for your residence permit application, but when you get to Finland, the employer is actually going to refund you the money for the payment of the residence permit, which is over 100 euros. Okay, so for the training, okay, is actually free. I've actually said the language training is very important, and it's actually done for free. Okay, so guys, this is where I'm also coming to the end of the video. This is some of the requirements of a caregiver. You need to be able to conduct a medical examination also. You can see that from the video. If you're also interested, you can see the particular link that is also available. If you're actually interested in this particular program, you can see that there is a link here that you can actually contact me. Please ensure that you contact me in regarding to this particular program. Please use the WhatsApp icon, or you can even email me through that link. I'm looking forward to having a fruitful discussion with you guys concerning this particular program. Of course, there may be some few things that we need to discuss, of course, because if you have any question also, you can actually inbox me through this particular link, and I'm looking forward to having a fruitful discussion with you guys. Okay, so if you're interested in this amazing program, you can email me. Of course, terms and conditions apply. There are terms and conditions that need to apply, and I wish you all the best, guys, in terms of your application. Okay, for the ones that are going to be successful, of course you guys will actually be successful. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in Finland, and thank you so much, guys, and see you in the next video. As always, from me, sayonara, adios muchachos, kwaherini, nawapenda nyote, and may God bless you.